Hello, folks. How are you guys? Kareen, JB Farm, Mr. McCook, Howard, Gary, what's going on? Um, must apologize for the late start. It was beyond our control, but we're here. Mario, you been trying to reach me? How you been trying to reach me? Because you could just send me a message via WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram. Identify yourself when you do, though, because as you can imagine, I get a lot of messages. So if you don't identify yourself, then I will approach it like it's somebody I don't know. So that's the key, is to identify yourself. Um, who else is here? Um, yeah, Mario, identify yourself. Let me know it's you. I'm gonna check to see if I'm missing something here. If I'm missing your messages. Savardo Joseph, welcome. Um, anybody else who's here haven't said hi, say hi so we can give you a shout out. Um, Hanif, big up. Okay, tonight I want to get into Jason. Jason Mosquito. What's going on, boss? It's been a while. I want to talk about kidding, kid management. The last time we talked about our kidding season when we had all those kids, and then now we've done the weaning process of those kids that were born October, November. So now I want to get into the whole management of those kids. What's our approach and what I think is the better approach in managing the kids. Um, thanks, Howard. Yeah, the Winners Lounge is an attraction, I must say. It's strategically placed there for a reason. So I just wanted to go through what we do in managing our kids, and then what the weaning process is for us. Because as you can see, we just weaned some kids, and the weaning lounges are getting stocked. So looking good. I like it. Um, so where do I start here? So for us, managing the kidding process is kid management process is a holistic approach. Like everything we do, we look at the big picture. How can we make it better? What what are the and what is the end result? What are we trying to achieve? What is the objective of doing what we do? And our main focus is to make sure the kids are comfortable and the mother is comfortable. So once we can approach it from that perspective, we tend to get better results. So number one is the kid. Is the kid comfort? Is the kid in an environment that's comfortable for the kid? Warm, dry, um, free from hazardous things like nails and sharp objects and dangerous fluid, all that stuff. Is the environment free of all that stuff? Is it enough space for the kid to move around? And then we look at the mother. Is the mother free from, abuse and harassment? And is she getting enough to eat? Is water accessible? All the necessities, we make sure they're there. We try our best to provide those things for the mother. Um, so our approach in kid management is make sure we don't overstock. We don't overstock our kidding facility, because overstocking the kidding facility creates a management problem. If you don't have enough space for the kids to run around and be kids, then that's a problem. If you don't have enough feed, that's a problem. If you don't have enough dry space, or comfortable space for the kids, that's a problem. And the mothers, that's a problem. So we look at it from that perspective. We try not to have an overstock situation. So we try to make sure we can manage properly. From our observation of going through kidding the first year in operation, we discovered that a comfortable and happy mother will feed the kids or kid anytime, and will feed the kid more often. Now, that's because what we did was isolate the mothers from aggressive mothers, or create, as you see now, we create individual pens, right? But before, we used to observe keenly and take out the aggressive mothers and isolate them, and leave the ones that can live together, leave them in a group. We've evolved that to individual pens, because we've seen better growth from the kids, and the mothers are more comfortable. So that's the number one thing that we do, is observe to see how they're getting along. And know that we're doing isolation pens, like single pens, we don't worry about that too much. But if we're fully stocked, then we have to pair up some mothers in a bigger space. So that still comes into play. Um, so once we get that sorted, mothers are comfortable, kids are comfortable. Now, how do we ensure the kids are getting enough feed on a daily basis? Creeper pen. We build a creeper pen, and as you can, the way our system is set up, the both nurseries, one creeper pen feeds all four individual. In one nursery, the one creeper pen feeds all four individual, one, two, three, four, five individual pens. The kids can leave each pen and go into the one creep feed area. So that's a thought process that people should think about. Um, Let me slow down and maybe get some questions answered here. Are the mothers isolated and the kids are weaned? No. The mothers are usually isolated until about 2 months, and everything is based on how they're reacting. If we get aggressive mothers in there, that mother is going to be isolated in a pen by herself until she's weaned, because of how aggressive she is. So we just operate according to what our observation is. Mr. Henry, welcome, sir. So the creeper pen for example, in the first nursery, all five individual pens in that area has access to the creeper pen. The kids can go to that creeper pen. In the new nursery, all the individual pens are against the wall where the troughs are, and the kids can come out and go into that big area and play. And then the creep feed is across from them, so they have full access to it. So the mothers are the ones that are restricted. The kids, they are free to roam. We find them sleeping in their friends' pen. They're or across the room in a corner by themselves, resting, sleeping, and that's the way we like it. They'll jump around, play around. You guys see the videos and observation of how they're operating, how happy they are, who's who has a lot of energy, who doesn't have a lot of energy. We observe to see who needs a little extra boost, whether it's some vitamins or something. We observe. But the key is to make sure the feed of these kids are paramount in every decision we make. Mothers has to be healthy, producing enough milk, and creep feed is introduced to the kids at after a week. Creep feed is introduced to them. They get the grain and they get some grass. The same cut up grass the mother is getting, the same thing they get in their creep feed. For the kids, the mothers that are in the dairy program, because we want them to start producing a lot of milk, we don't give the kids that ration, that dairy ration, the concentrate. We give the kids the regular goat ration because we don't want to create any issues with bloat or urinary calculi. So we don't give the kids their dairy ration. But any questions so far? If you have any questions so far, shoot it because I don't want to get too far ahead. Don't want to get too far ahead without answering any questions you guys may have on our kid management. Bless up, Martin. We vaccinate kids at 3 months. And if somebody think it's a better idea to do it earlier, I don't mind because we've had situation happen at 2 months, which we like don't know how that's happened, but it does. What can cause stunting in a kid? Usually feed. When the kids, when their growth is stunted or runted or whatever the correct term is, it's usually not getting enough feed, not getting enough milk. Nutrition is the problem there. Always the problem when you find kids runted and not no growth, no energy. It's always not getting enough milk, not getting enough feed, not getting enough nutrition. Mario wants to know. Yeah, we introduce cream feed after a week. We start putting little grain, some grass in that little. Once they start running around and bouncing around and going off on their own, we introduce them to the creep feed and let them pick at it. It's not a lot. We just put a little grain in there, some grass, so they can pick at it at will, and they get used to it, and we start teaching them from there how to eat just like their mom. Um, we've had experience with death from mom laying on the kid or stepping on a kid or what else? rejecting a kid and bucking the kid, that type of thing. But it's very rare that we get that situation. It's not something that happens a lot, because most mothers are pretty aware of their kids and always up and looking for their kids, and so we don't find that happening a lot. Um, yes, yes, we give the kids a regular maintenance ration when the maintenance ration was available. Now it's not available, so it's just a goat ration. But that's what we give the kids, and we give it free choice because it's lower in crude protein, so we don't worry about urinary calculi and bloat and that stuff with the maintenance ration, and they do very well on it. What is the average weight of a month-old kid on Earth? We don't know. I don't weigh kids in between. Weigh them at birth, and we do the weaning weight, and then we calculate our daily gains. I don't weigh the kids 1 month, 2 months. Not no. We weigh 103 days, 105 days in that range at birth, and then at 103, 105 days, and then calculate the adjusted 90-day weaning weight. And from that, we can calculate our daily gains. I really don't get caught up in the numbers like that. I only worry about it at weaning, because then I can do an assessment on how the group is doing and who are the high performers in the group. And because we do group breeding, so all our kids will come in a 2 week, 3 week period, and that group grows together. And that's why we win at 105, 100, and that those numbers. So the the younger kids get a chance to pass the 90 days. So that at that point, the kids, everybody in the group should be past the 90 days, and then we can tell who are the fast growers, who's behind. There's an index that the records will show us who the high performers are, and we can rate them accordingly. We use the free choice. Nutrimix have a good free choice mineral. Hypro has a good one, and whoever you use, just make sure you have free choice mineral all the time for the mothers. Um, Mr. Henry's asked, so you don't measure the feed per kid example? No, no, we don't do that. We only measure for mothers. We just put once we start them on the creep feed. Okay, let me read this question from Mr. Henry. So you don't measure the feed per kid, example, zero point 0.5 per kid, so 20 kids, 10 pounds. No. Once we introduce them to the creep feed, we just observe how much they eat per day, and they have the feed free choice. We try to don't replenish it in the evening because of rodents and all them things. But in the morning, we put feed in there. They have the feed to nip, to pick at it, do whatever, eat all day. But keep in mind, our trough is semi kid proof. Like kids can't really, most of the kids can't get in it. There's always the one that figure out how to go lay in it. But we try to set it up so kids can lay in and mess it up and pee in it and all them things. So that's why we try to keep the grains in it all day. We don't, and trust me, it helps for them to get conditioned to the grain and we don't end up with overeating and all them things because they're so used to it, they only eat what they want. We only measure the grain for adults and after they're weaned. After they're weaned, we start measuring. When a kid is rejected, you can give them, yes, we give them milk replacer, or in our case, we feed them milk from other mothers because we have usually there's other mothers in the system milking, so we'll give them milk from another mother. Yeah, the fructose mineral is the granular mineral. Yeah, not the block, not the mineral block. Um, Somebody's asked, our goats are graded animals. I assume this is someone from overseas. Okay, what's going on, Cruz? So what we do once we set up everything and the kids are comfortable, we make sure there is the creep feeds going on. Make sure it's kid proof, as in they don't get in it, stand in it, sleep in it, pee in it, poo in it. Try our best to keep it set up that they can really get in it because that's a lot of waste. You know, I mean, now we've had kids that just, for whether they're smaller or find a way to get under the wood and they just go in there. But for the most part, our kids don't get into the trough and the creep feed. Um, One word says, have you tried adoption or had any success with the adoption of rejected kids by other mothers? No success there yet, but we'll still try. We've done the bottle baby stuff several times, but we haven't had the adoption thing yet. Hopefully, we can have success with that soon. Yeah, so once you get all of that, keep in mind that the objective is to have fast growing kids, comfortable, healthy, fast growing kids. So nutrition for the mother is like number one priority because a healthy mother will feed the kid as much as possible. If a mother is not healthy and needs proper nutrition, she starts saving stuff for herself, and the kids won't get everything they need. So nutrition for the mother in your kid management system is number one. Number one. Whatever you need to do, make sure you can get that mother healthy and high nutrition because she's feeding kids. Milk, she can't produce enough milk if she's not healthy and getting the right nutrition. You know, you have to make sure that you give proper nutrition to the mothers and water, fresh, clean water. And use the water buckets that are low enough so the kids can drink from it, not the big paint bucket, because the kids will, anything they see the mother do, they'll do it. So if the mother drinks a lot of water, the kids will be drinking a lot of water. Just keep in mind, whatever the mother is doing, the kids will follow suit. they will adopt everything the mother does. They'll do it. Mr. Henry has a question. Just to digress, what's your feed program for pregnant mothers 1 month out from delivery? Um, yeah, that's question from the show we did before. But um, what we do is a month before our mothers have kids, they're on maintenance mode. They're just getting grass, fresh pastures every day, and that's it. Once they hit that 1 month mark before they have kid, we bring them in, assess them on where their health is, and they start getting extra concentrate. Getting well, they start getting some concentrate because they weren't getting it before, some grain, and we start them off at half pound. And if there's confirmation that there's twins in there, we'll bump it up, to a pound and a pound a day, and nice fresh grass and lots of water. And that's their nutrition. That's their feeding program. Fresh water, some concentrate, and fresh shaft grass. That's their food feeding program. And we just make sure they have that nice fresh grass, chopped grass, 24 hours. Sorry, folks. I don't know who's calling me at this time. Fresh grass, 24 hours these mothers have. Because you got to keep in mind, the closer they are to having kid, the less space they have for for feed. So the concentrate really helps with the nutrition and energy protein level because there's less space in the stomach for them to eat a lot of dry matter. And of course, free choice mineral always. Every pen in there has free choice mineral. Free choice mineral, whether they're pregnant or not pregnant, doesn't matter. Maintenance goats come back. Free choice mineral is down in the maintenance lounge. Every goat has free choice mineral available to them at all times when they're in the pen or at home. Um, any other questions? Okay, so once you have everything set up, observation, observation, observation. Observe how this is working for you. If your system is working, are the kids? Here's a telltale. Here's a good way to tell if your kids are doing well. If they're always jumping around, tails up, messing around, running from one end of the room to the other, that's when you know your kids are healthy. That's when you know that they got enough feed, their nutrition is good because they got lots of energy. They're jumping all over the place, bouncing off the walls. You know your kids are healthy. If you see the kid just standing there or laying there and doesn't get up, or when the kid's up, the tail's down, they just don't look alert, it's not a healthy kid. And usually it's because they're not getting the right nutrition. They're not getting enough milk, they're not getting enough nutrition. So their energy level is down, everything about them just seems off. So observation is key in your kidding in your kid management program. Now, if you got that down and everything's looks good, everything's working, mothers are healthy, kids are healthy, and you get to weaning. Some people wean at 2 months, some people wean at 3 months. Milking program, wean at 2 months because you want to take advantage of the milk. Meat, milk at meat programs usually wean at 3 months because of they want more help with the daily gains. But the weaning process can be stressful for the mother, can be stressful for the kids. Weaning process can slow down the growth of the kids. So you have to be careful how you wean the kids. For us, in the meat, the kids from meat, we start the weaning process at 2 months, all of them. We start the weaning process at 2 months. So the mothers will leave the kids at the 2 month mark and go to pasture, and then the kids would have them when they come back overnight, and then in the morning they leave, and that happens for a month. And after a month, everybody separates, and we do the weighing and all that stuff, and the mother gets hemoplex, the kids get hemoplex, and sometimes some extra little vitamins to handle the stress of the separation. Keep in mind that these kids, they're going to be stressed to the max when they discover that they can't spend the night with their mothers. So you have to help them to deal with that stress. So if your environment is not clean and, you know, sanitized during that period, is when other things can creep into the health of your kids because of their stress level. Their immune system will break down, you know. And I don't know how to turn this ring off on this thing, but somebody is, yeah. Um, so during the weaning process, the stress level is so high, their immune system will break down, and any illness or thing can take place during that time. Worm load can increase during that time. You know what I mean? Cold, pneumonia, all that stuff can creep in during that time. So, vitamins and supplements we use to help them deal with that stress level. Hemoplex is our go to in the water. Start doing it 2, 3 days before the weaning date and a week following the weaning date until they stop crying and stop crying for their mom at night. We continue to give them the extra little boost they need. And the Hemoplex helps a lot. You know, we've had success, great success with it. And you just got to remember that you're dealing with kids. You know, they're going to be really upset, really stressed. And your job is to help them get through that stress. And then once they get through that stress, you just focus on, if your objective is to fatten them for meat or to make sure they're healthy enough to go start going to pasture, or they, if your system is they've been going to pasture, then you just have to continue what you do and help them grow and have an environment where they can be healthy, strong, get the right nutrition, and before you know it, they're over their mother, they're on their own. But remember that period, that 4 days, 5 days from the weaning date to 3 or 4 days is very important to make sure that these kids get help to get over the stress level. The reason we start weaning a month before, introduce a separation of the mothers and the kids a month before, is because we know when that weaning date come, it's gonna be like cold turkey. Like you quit. They stop seeing hanging out with their mother, stop going to hanging out with their mother at nights, stop getting any breast milk, anything. So we introduce them to that separation early, and then prepare them for it. And then when that date comes, 3 days before, we give them some vitamins and supplements and carry them through 3 4 days after. Now, on the weaning date, we weigh, and usually, as I said earlier, about the 103 105 day mark, um, for that group. So some will be a little younger, so they'll be 91 92 days old or whatever, and others will be 103 105 days old, some maybe 107, whatever it is. But our record keeping balances out. The spreadsheet will balance things out, and it'll give us our daily gains. And right now, our groups are averaging 52 pounds. Average weaning weight is we're at 52 pounds for the last group. So, we're doing good. We're definitely happy with those numbers, knowing that, half of them are the mothers are in a milking program. So they're not getting 100% of their mom's milk. And we're happy with it, with the gains. So we can take that and move forward with it. Um, any other questions? Any other questions before I move on to the next part of the weaning process? Okay, so what we try to do is for the weaning process is we try to keep the same type of feeding that we had when they were up in the nursery. We have them eat the same stuff. We have a little creep feed for the littler ones, the more docile ones. They can go and eat in the creep feed. And um, question here. No, yeah, that's average for males and females. It's per group. We do not separate them. I know some people tell us we should separate by sex, but we don't. We just deal with it as per the group. Um, but I'll look into it more and see if I should. Because most of our females are kept back, we're not really too concerned with it. But I'll definitely look into it. Hi, Jackie. So definitely what we do is try to make sure the lounge has the same feeding program. Nothing changed for them. They're getting the same shaft grass, they're getting the same grain. No, but the difference now is we start weighing the grain for the when we put it in those troughs. We start figuring out, okay, half pound per animal or a pound for them. And then, but we have a creep feed for the more docile ones. So we'll put the same thing in there like we did up in the nursery. The older goats who can't get into that creep feed, they really don't need it. The bigger ones, they don't need it. So, but the younger ones who get pushed around, or the smaller ones who get pushed around and don't get enough feed from the trough, they can go into the creep area and get what they need. And we do that just to help the smaller ones, you know, balance out their growth. Because you got animals, realistically, you got some kids who are slow in their growth, slower to develop, but you still want to give them that opportunity to get there. May not have grown up fast during that 90-day period, but it doesn't mean that they can't catch up at some point. So I don't want to slow them down with the weaning process. So we still kind of simulate what they were doing in the nursery with the creep feed and all that. The only thing they're not getting is access to their mother, but we try to help them out. If if you're big enough that you can't get into the creep feed, you don't need what's in the creep feed. That's what we. That's our philosophy, um, and it's been working for us. It's evident in the size of the kids, the bucklings and dolings, after 4 months, 5 months. I post one kid, one doling today. She's 7 months old, I think. She's massive, maybe too big, but and she goes to pasture. you know, she goes to pasture, but she still comes back to the weaning lounge because crews don't want them to her to go to the maintenance lounge because she's not fully integrated with the general herd yet. So she and a couple of what I call Trudy's pets, they're not fully integrated with the maintenance mothers or maintenance females. So they go to pasture and they come back to the Wieners Lounge and hang out like miss they're special, they're spoiled, I call it. But anyways, the system for us works. It helps those kids grow. I think give them a great the best chance, I would say, to gain weight, grow fast, and wean healthy and strong, and give them a good chance of producing to the maximum where we want them to be. Yes, Peter. Yeah, they're living the life. Those spoiled dolings are living the life, but they're a replacement. So let them do what they do until we put a buck on them. Um, any other questions? Um, what vitamin or supplements? Well, as I go into what that before, Peter, we for them we just do hemoplex in the water. For the ones that may look like they're sick or appear as if they're sick, or they seem like they're off feed, that they won't eat as much, we give them, we don't do the injectable B complex. We have the gel B complex that we do for these kids. And if a kid is off feed or not eating as much, we give them the B complex. But hemoplex is our go-to when it comes to trying to get them to take in a little extra boost consistently. Hemoplex in the water, and it works. And keep in mind, like, because the Wiener's Lounge is outside in the sun, they drink a lot of water, and it's big space, so they run all over the place. And if they're healthy and love the space, they first thing they're doing is running all over the place, and the next thing they're doing is going to the bucket of water to drink as much water as possible. And the hemoplex is in there, so they're getting it, so it helps. It's like a whole system Because trust me, you put them out there, they start running all over the place. Um, Scouring in kids, how do you prevent or manage that? We seldom get scouring in kids because of our management, I assume. But when we do have it, sulfamide. Sulfamide is our go-to. Sanitation and sulfamide is our go-to for scouring. But keep in mind that from previous show that I tell you about, scouring could be a sign of disruption in the feed that cause them to scour, or it could be worms. In our case, we seldom have worms with our kids because they're not going anywhere, and the pen's always in good, clean condition for the most part. So most of the time, it's either something they ate, a disruption in their digestive system or their rumen that caused the scouring, and sulfamide usually help dry it up, and we just watch and see and make sure they drink a lot of water. Drink, and because they're usually in the, if this happens after weaning or if it's in the nursery, we just make sure that they get enough fluid. Keep in mind that scouring is very, can take a kid out or a goat out pretty fast. Takes them, could kill them, and if it doesn't kill them, it takes them a long time to recover to gain back what they lost from the scoring. So scoring is not something to be played with. It's not something to be left to see what happens tomorrow. It should be addressed the minute you see it. Always, especially in kids. Always address it. Um, any other questions? So basically, that is our kid management and weaning program in a nutshell. That's what we do. We don't do anything exceptional. We don't have no secret weapon, no secret ingredient, nothing. Everything that we do during that time is available to everybody. We're not doing anything that everybody else can't do. It's just a matter of doing it on the scale that you can manage or you can deal with. You know, the number one thing is the observation, paying attention to what's going on. Cruise is a secret weapon. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he is a secret weapon, you know. But the team, we preach observation, observation. Say so, see something, do something, see something, say something. Don't leave it till the next day. The next day you're gonna come back and it's a dead goat, or it's too far gone. You can't save the goat. That's the problem. Like, if you don't observe and pay attention to what's going on, then you will end up with sick goats that you too much work to get them back. You just gotta observe, and if you do your observation right, you can tell when a kid's off. You know what I mean? Sometimes you see a kid, nothing's wrong with the kid, but because your standard of what the kid should be doing is up here, and this kid may be some, low profile kid that's just feel like, oh, I'm not into the up and down and everything else that the other kids are doing. You may think something's wrong with the kid, but you keep watching and watching and realize, oh, that's just that kid's personality. And then you have the kid who's like hyperactive, who's bouncing off the walls, and you just fear for that kid that kid's gonna hurt him or herself by, running into the walls or something. But the observation, that's what it takes for proper kid management, is observation, observing the mothers, observing the kids. That's what you got to do. And just make sure that nutrition is number one. If those three things are taken care of, nutrition, observation, and water. If those three things, don't forget sanitation. Sanitation is like, it's not, I should need not to mention that. Everything needs to be, make sure you clean it as much as you can. But those three things, and you're good in your kid management. Yeah, and do what works. Don't experiment. Exactly. If you see scouring and you use sulfamide the last time and it works, just like Mr. Henry says, use it again the next time. Don't shift to something else because somebody tell you, oh, you could try that. Do not. Stick with what worked for you because it worked for you because maybe your environment is good for that. You know what I mean? If it worked for you, use it again. Do it again. Don't try something else for somebody tell you, oh, you should try this because that may be better. No, it's if it worked for you, it's good enough. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's Mr. Henry's advice, and I second that for sure. So for me to work for us, and we go by it. We just use it, and it works every time. And if it's not working, we know that it's a bigger problem than just a disruption of the rumen or whatever. We know that it's maybe some form of worm problem or a bigger problem. Any other questions before we say good night? Well, we start late this tonight, so I'm keep thinking it's 8:30. I'm going 1.5 hours, but it's only been an hour. So I got a lot more in me. I don't know. Um, I just figured I will do kid management and this whole process tonight because the truth is I'm observing on the different forums, and people are in the middle of kidding or they just finished kidding and now they got to raise these kids. And I'm I'll be honest, I see the problems. I see them. Like I can look at the pictures, I can look at the environment, I can see the problems. But you can't really, make these comments on these posts because you don't want to offend people and you don't want to come off as, Mr. Know It All or Mr. Whatever. So I'm going to use our um, farm and tell you guys what we do and the challenges we face and how we fix them. Let me tell you something of why I step up our or why we said to step up our kidding program, our kidding management. The first rounds of kidding we had on Carver Ranch, I thought I just established a relationship with Maki. Maki say, "Oh, I'm gonna come up to the farm," and I'm excited to yes, Maki's coming to the farm, and I'm like, I just wanted Maki to know that we're serious about what we're doing, and we have our nice little nursery set up and everything. And Maki came, and Maki's looking around and he's liking what he's seeing, and he get to the nursery and he's like, "What's wrong with the kids?" And I'm like, "What do you mean what's wrong with the kids? The kids they look good." Maki's like, "Nah, man. Kids, something's wrong with your kids. They should be jumping all over the place. They should be, just rambunctious and can't stay still. And your kids are just there." And then he broke it down for me. And that's when I realized like just having mothers in that space with the kids wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. It doesn't matter how clean the space was. It wasn't good enough because there was aggressive mothers in there. There was docile mothers in there. There's mothers who were laying underneath the trough in a corner for the whole day because one goat, the minute she come out, another goat's gonna buck her, so her kid didn't get fed, and the list goes on and on and on, and it's a domino effect, you know. And he break it down for me. It's like you can't have it like that. You have to figure out how to separate it. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to get people to understand and people to realize that just observing how these mothers operate, how the kids operate, is a big step in proper kid management, especially in goats, because goats are like, they're evil when the way they deal with each other. Why is Cruz on here asking questions? Cruz wants to know what you guys' challenges are. Here's a man coming in taking over my thing and he can't even show up. One day I ask him to come on the show, he won't come on the show. But he's in here asking people to tell us what their challenges are. It's a good question. I must admit, it's a good question. Okay, so Cruz wants to know what you guys' questions are, and I will get him to answer them, to tell you guys what he does. So you can ask Cruz. It's a new segment. Ask Cruz. I'm gonna do that actually. I'm gonna start a new video thing with Ask Cruz or Cruz Knows. Okay, so that video with Trudy and them. I'm gonna do a new series of little videos called Cruz Knows. But I'm surprised not going tonight while Cruz is online. I like messing with Cruz nightlife. Um, yes, Peter, keen eyes. You have to, you got to remember the kids is where the money is, man. Kids is where the money is. Staff. Mr. Henry says staff. Lack of consistent observation. Whew, don't get me started on that, Mr. Henry. Everybody seems to be facing the same issues of can't get proper workers. We're lucky, not as lucky as people think, because I can boost about Cruz, and then we have Cruz training Skilly or Luke, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge. We've been through them over and over, different people, and it is a challenge. And countless farmers we talk to has the same challenge. And it's weird to me to know that you're paying somebody to stand up and watch, and they won't do it. They're watching their phones. Even Cruz says it's a big problem. Cruz must have time tonight. I'm gonna call him to find out what he's doing, why he's on here so much. He's just there laughing at me, I'm sure. Yeah, it is. Even Cruz saying it's a big problem. When do you separate kids from the mothers? We separate kids from we separate kids from the mothers. The mothers that are milking program, the kids get separated from them at 2 months because we want the milk. I'm gonna be honest. The goats, the ones that are not in the milking program, they're completely separated at 3 months. So that's how it goes on our farm. In your opinion, do you have a raised goat to have great kids? You have to have a raised goat house to have great kids. No. What you need to have, you don't have to have a raised goat house. What you need to have is a elevated dry area for your goats that will get them off the ground in the event that it's raining, flooding, whatever it is. Goats do not like wet, damp areas. So if you have a like if you go to our videos and see the Winners Lounge or the maintenance lounge, it's a deck, a platform that they go on in when it's raining or when it's wet. And that's where they stay. It's not a raised the house is turned into a production house. Maintenance mothers is in the back lounge on platforms. Wiener's lounge is the kids are on a platform at night. During the day, they're running up and down on gravel or whatever river rocks to we use that to make for drainage, proper drainage, so the water it dries out pretty quick. Um, at the 2 month mark when we start the weaning process for everybody, the mothers sleep with the kids at night. No, the ones that are not in the milking program, the mothers will go to pasture and come back, and the kids will be with them. The mothers that are in the milking program at 2 months at night, they don't see the kids. 2 months, they don't see the kids. It's the reverse. So they'll have access to the kids during the day, and then at night, they don't. If the mothers do not have a lot of milk, supplement with milk replacer or get milk from another mother and bottle feed the kid. Do not, here's a big mistake we've done is if a mother is sick when she have kids or not in great condition when she have kids and don't have a lot of milk, do not force the issue with the mother. Take the kids off and bottle feed the kids because that mother will not recover fast enough. It will take the mother forever to recover if you let the kids sucker at all. We have learned that. We've made that big mistake. And it takes the mother so long to recover because we let the kid stay. We're still supplementing the kid with the bottle, but we left the kid thinking, oh, the kid wants to stay. Let the kid stay with the mother and, you know, get some milk from the mother. What a big mistake. The mother would not recover. She just looked like she was gonna die anytime soon because she was still feeding the kids. And so if we want to save the mother, take the kids off the mother completely, let the mother just recover. See, um, Cruz answering questions here. I'm gonna bring him on the show. Now he's in here answering questions. I'm gonna talk to the producer and get him on the show. So the milk replacer is better at the mother's temperature. So it can be actual room temperature. It needs to be a little warmer than room temperature. So what we do is when we use it, we mix it and then we put it in hot water. Like put the bottle in hot water and then it sit in hot water and get a little warm. So it's warmer than room temperature, and then we feed it to the kids. You see, Cruz is answering everything. um, yeah. So if you have any more questions, I will definitely answer them, or Cruz will answer them. What's the mixture? Um, it depends on the replacer that you're using. You got to follow the instruction on the from for the replacer that you're using. I cannot tell you what the mixture is, what the ratio should be. It all depends on which mixer you're using. If you're using the Nutrimix one or whatever, just consult with them on what it is. That's a problem because they give it to you in like plastic bag without anything on it. So I don't like that. The only what I'll add to the milk replacer if it's newborn kids that are we're taking off the mother, I'll add like you can add Silmanax to it, or you can, you know, like I would add the omega 3 to it. Um, but Silmanax you can add to it. You can even add a little Hemoplex to it. Any little extra boost that they can get, you can add that to it. So Mr. Makuk knows the ration because he definitely was bottle feeding some kids. 1 cup to 7 cup of water. 1 cup of milk replacer to 7 cup of water. And he said that is from Dr. Patrick. So we haven't used milk replacer lately because we've been getting milk from other mothers. And because of the milking program that we're running, we can feed them the strip milk. The strip milk is the first three squeeze from each teeth, and that's to check if there's any problem with that mother's milk. And we save that for bottle babies. And if there's no bottle babies, we give it to the dogs. And remember, guys, always store colostrum. I see Dr. Young did a post. I don't know if she's in here. So she did a post about with colostrum in a bottle. That's a great idea. But I'll tell you, my personal opinion is put the colostrum in ice cube trays. You have way more control if it's in ice cube trays. So then you can choose. You can, if you only have 2 kids or 1 kid that you need to give colostrum to, you don't have to defrost a whole bottle of colostrum. You just pop out 4 cubes of colostrum like you're making a cocktail. And you know what I mean? It's a great idea to store it, but you also want to think about how you're going to use it when the time comes. You don't want to have to defrost a whole bottle of colostrum if you only have 1 kid that needs it. And you know that the kid's only going to drink so much colostrum the first go. You don't want that to go to waste. So um, I suggest you do it in cube trays, ice cube trays, freeze it in ice cube trays. And in fact, you can freeze it and you can collect more the next day. Just once it's frozen, pop it out, put it in a plastic bag or something, like you're saving ice in a bag. And yeah, if you don't have a lot of trays, I think that's the way to go. Um, but remember, always try to save yourself some colostrum from new mothers. Always. That's like, as Trudy says, liquid gold. Yeah, there you see. Um, when it says ice cube works well, that's the best. Yeah, it works so good for us. Like it was perfect. Like I could just pop out 4 ice cubes of colostrum and put it in a bottle in the thing bottle. What do you call it? Baby bottle, milk bottle thing, and put that in a thing of hot water. Just insert the bottle in a bowl of hot water and let it defrost and mix it up, make sure it's warm enough, and boom, I'm good to go. If the mother's feeding the kid, okay, could you still give milk replacer to boost the kid? Is that a no? I would, well, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't, if the mother's feeding the kid all right, I wouldn't introduce nothing to it because what the mother is producing is the best for that kid. So I wouldn't introduce anything else more than just concentrate on making sure the mother is healthy and producing a lot of that milk for the kid. Good nutrition, lots of water, free choice mineral, good, nice, fresh grass, and some concentrate to add to it because she needs the extra boost, a little extra energy, and you're good to go. Don't introduce. First of all, you're gonna have to pay for the milk replacer. Why you want to do that? You're getting milk from the mother. You don't have to pay for no extra input. You know what I mean? And there's Cruz again. I teach the guy so well. Cruz says, why would you want to introduce milk replacer? What if the kid stops sucking the mother and stick to the bottle? Then you got yourself a bottle baby that you don't need. And that is a reality. That is a real thing. If you introduce the bottle to that kid could just all of a sudden say, you know what, I like the bottle better. And then no, you have to be worried about feeding that kid. I remember having that conversation with Cruz. I was like, yo, I don't want to be taking her responsibility. Why am I gonna help her? I'm not helping her. I want to help. The only way I'm helping the mother is to get the mother healthy. I don't want to be supplementing the kid. I don't want to be adding like, oh, you feed and I feed. You feed and I feed now. It's your kid. You feed. I'll help you with what you need to feed, but no, I don't want to take on your responsibility. Who say I create my own problem? No, I didn't create a problem. I create what I like. I like what I see, Cruz. Um, oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you create your own problem when you start helping the mother. You know, and then my kid, you have to get up at the middle of the night to feed this kid. No, that's the mother's job. Any other questions? I think, yeah, Kirk, just it's what we all do, man. At some we have to start somewhere. We just start learning and asking questions. And no questions is an idiot question. No questions a stupid question. You know what I mean? Hmm? There's huh? Yeah. There's only stupid answers. That's what the producer says. You know what I mean? Don't no stupid questions. Yes, that's the way it works. So Benjamin from Thatchfield Farm said exactly that. Provide feed for the mother, and she provide milk. Yep. Do keep in mind that, as I said before, healthy mothers will give you healthy kids. So this whole thing starts when the mother is pregnant. Like the last 2 months of pregnancy is when you should start observing, making sure everything is good. And the last month of pregnancy is when you ramp up all nutrition and health stuff. Pay attention if the mother needs some supplements, some vitamins, because two things happen in that last month. the body of the mother's body starts saying all these new this nutrition and everything. I need to start feeding this kid because this kid's getting ready to come, and the kid's growing faster. And then the body starts saying, yeah, I'm getting weaker. The immune system starts saying, yo, I'm not as strong. So anything worms or any cold or anything, they're just waiting there saying, oh, this is a time to take control. So the only way you can combat that is proper nutrition, extra little vitamins or whatever, if that mother is not strong and healthy. Because that last month is when everything is going to attack the body. Immune system is down. Worm load's going to get heavier if she has a worm issue. If she has a little cold, that cold's gonna get worse. Yeah, so nutrition last month, and if the mother wasn't pregnant and wasn't healthy throughout the pregnancy, you got a bigger problem. But we all know we're supposed to keep our goats healthy, right? So I'm just telling you what extra input you need to have healthy kidding season, healthy kid management, healthy weaning process, and all of that. I'm just telling you what we do and why it's important to pay attention to what we do, because we're just like you in Jamaica using the same inputs. You know what I mean? We're using the same inputs that everybody else is using and doing the same. And trust me, our side of the island, people know the northeast side of the island, we get a lot more rain, wet ground, all that stuff we have to deal with. People on the south side don't get as much rain as we get. So we have to deal with a lot of different elements on this side. So we have the ability to tell you what happens in rainy season, how to deal with it, how to deal with it in the summer when it's dry, how to deal with it. Like we have the full scope. So we're telling you because we've got to deal with it all. Um, yeah, and we got a lot of people in this iGoat Cabarage family that they will tell you exactly what their experience is, and they're willing to share their experience. They're willing to tell us, give advice, or refer us to somebody who can help. So don't be shy to ask. Don't be shy to go to iGo chat group and post your questions or whatever. Somebody's gonna get back to you. Somebody's gonna tell you who to ask, who to go to, what to do. Don't be shy about it. You know what I mean? I want next if you gonna have a kidding season coming up, you know what I mean, ask all the questions you want, and we'll try to help. Carlos the chef. Where is how comes we haven't heard from Carlos in a while? Prevention of pregnancy, toxemia, and ketosis is in goat is via nutritional management and identification of those animals that are at most and the animals that are at most at risk. Is that what I'm supposed to say? Yeah. Feed intake should be monitored and adapted to meet the need of the doe. Exactly, Mr. Henry. And this is what I've been preaching all night is make sure the animal is getting the nutrition, the mother is getting nutrition, and the mother is healthy. Once you do that, you're good. Google is key. Yeah, we all go to Google University and YouTube University. Oh, oh, wow. Carlos said he lost his mother on Wednesday. Our condolences, sir. Sorry to hear that. Prayers up for you and your family. Stay strong, my brother. Enough blessings. And I know in these tough times it's hard. There's no words that will bring comfort, but just keep in mind that, we have you in our prayers. My goat university. All right. Oh wow, he's the only child. Condolences, my brother. Um, we know how tough it can be. Um, just stay strong, and hopefully, whatever prayers we put up can reach you, and you can get through this. All right. Carlos, you missed our discussion on kid management and weaning process. We'll save it for you as usual. So, don't worry about this. It will always be here when you're ready to take it in. You got more important things to deal with at this moment. So don't worry, we'll save it for you. Be saved, and all you need to do is link me, and I'll send you a link to it. You know what I mean? Don't worry. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it a night. Thank you guys for participating. I think some of these discussions that we have is not the sexy, healthy, robust ones that some people like to partake in, but this is what makes us successful. These are the little things that make us or operation tick. Makes it. How the clock tick and just keep going. These are the little things that help. It's not the big fancy shiny stuff. It's the little things you do in your system that makes your system shine. So thank you all. Thanks to my producer. Thanks to the operation manager, Cruz, for partaking tonight. And I would wish to have him a lot more in these discussions because he has a lot to offer. And thank everybody, Mr. McCook, Mr. Henry, what I mean, Carlos, or condolences, Kirk, my mom. Thanks for always being there, always dropping in. I'm gonna say Auntie Irene, but I'm gonna ask her how come she's not here. And everybody else, bless up. Have a great weekend. What I mean, Mr. Benjamin, Howard, everybody that's a part of this tonight. Thank you guys, and we will see you guys next week. And as promised, I'll post more videos explaining. We're gonna have a new little short video thing. Cruz knows. I'm gonna try to start that this week. All right. So see you guys next week. Peace out.